literally, was my friend. And Ron DeSantis becomes Trump's Ron DeSanctimonious. Ex-Secretary of State Mike Pompeo expressed his support for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis after former President Donald Trump nicknamed the Republican governor Ron DeSanctimonious during the Pennsylvania rally for the GOP gubernatorial and Senate candidates. Trump's comment is the first direct slight against DeSantis since the former president's political committee announced he would be seeking out for campaigning for the U.S. Senate Marco Rubio at a rally in Miami. And while at that rally in Miami on Sunday, he didn't invite Governor DeSantis. Mike Pompeo wrote on Twitter Saturday night, quote, "Not tired of winning. At Governor Ron DeSantis, you've proven conservative policies work. Florida is better for it. Vote for Governor Ron DeSantis." DeSantis, who is leading in the current Florida polls, having a little trouble with my teleprompter, leading in the Florida polls, is likely to be in a direct and dramatic re-election battle against Democratic candidate, Congressman Charlie Crist, who is here tonight. And he has not said whether he would run for president in 2024. Many Republicans consider DeSantis the leading contender in the race if Trump does not run, and the nickname drew immediate criticism from party insiders. Stafford Jones, a Gainesville-based Republican political consultant who rarely posts on Twitter, wrote yesterday, quote, "Donald Trump belittling and name-calling our Florida governor 2 days before the 2022 midterms, in which our governor is on the ballot, unforgivable," end quote. Before Trump's latest jab, Florida Republicans blamed the media for suggesting there was an intra-party feud between DeSantis and Trump. Well, it's an interesting story that appeared yesterday. Our headline is, I think, apropos. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. We're sitting here tonight on the Valdemings, Charlie Crist's final campaign stop before the LGBTQ community. If DeSantis is going to run for president in 2024 in 2 years, likely that begins tomorrow. The election for governor, the re-election for governor, whatever happens between Crist and DeSantis, tomorrow he begins to run for president of the United States. His path of the only candidate that can run for GOP president of the United States against him to get in his way is Donald Trump. Now the question then becomes, does the LGBTQ community root for a Donald Trump because of what we can now effectively see is the power of Ron DeSantis? And are we better off having DeSantis lose to a Donald Trump and then President Biden take on?
So that headline,
Clutching my pearls.
the enemy of my enemy.
I'm clutching my pearls. Here's the thing, that I really do believe that Ron DeSantis is more organized and smarter than Trump, okay? If he becomes president, we are F. Yeah. We thought we had it back during Trump. He's on another level, Al, of just hatred against us. Now, and the people who run and love Ron DeSantis are delusional. All right, something just came out, because he's super groomer obsessed, right? He thinks that, like, you know, we're all groomers and all that crap, right? So Ron DeSantis, when he was a teacher, was partying with younger women, okay, students of his. There are fine bylaws that say that teachers should not be fraternizing with students, right, especially women. That is grooming, but no one's going to talk about that, and no one is going to take their vote away from someone like Ron DeSantis for something like that. You know, if any Democrat that comes...
I'm sorry, did this take place at Liberty University?
It should have. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't at Liberty University, but I mean, come on. You know, this is, again, like Al said, would we be better off with Trump coming back? Like, if we have to pick between them.
Oh, know? God. It's
a nightmare.
It's a tough one. For me, I just moved to Florida. I cannot believe the power that Ron DeSantis has over Floridians and the things that he says. it makes the public want to follow him. And unfortunately, that's what creates bias amongst our community. And that really damages us. And to me, it just as a person, I can't believe that people would follow that kind of negativity because we all belong to a specific group. All of us, we're all human beings. It's unbelievable.
I mean, Trump came along and kind of changed the playing field for a lot of things. Speaking about hate, speaking about like directly mocking people, it drew attention and turned the whole political campaign trail into just entertainment for the masses. And for, you know, I'm sorry to say, but there are a lot of us here in America that are underserved in our education, and we don't understand how our government works. I mean, it's embarrassing, to be honest, but then we just sit there and we see somebody who's so provocative on TV and we're drawn in. Oh, they're charismatic. Oh, they're making fun of that person. Oh, are they stupid? Okay, sure. Yeah, I believe that too.
He was on TV. Let's vote for him.
Yes, exactly.
Here's the question to the point that you just made. Is Joe Biden in a better situation in re-election in 2024? Or maybe the wild card, he doesn't run and somebody else runs that is very pro-LGBT. But let's assume it's President Biden. Is President Biden better off running against a strategist of the power of Ron DeSantis, what he has shown in the last 2 years that he has done in Florida, or somebody that is a bumbling, egomaniacal, loose cannon that is Donald Trump? That America and a President Biden proved once before he could defeat Donald Trump, and that he could do it again because Donald Trump is Donald Trump, and ultimately he gets it in his own way. Which is better, a DeSantis against Biden or Trump against Biden?
I'm moving to Canada.
I think that's a really, really difficult question to answer because, there's no right answer here. What I can say is that what happens, I like what you said earlier, the power in numbers. That's really the big thing. But I think it's really a difficult question because I think for our community there could be trouble either way, and that's
it's not good. There will be trouble.
The main thing is that LGBTQ people need to show up and vote. Period. We don't take these midterm elections as something that's super serious. But as you were saying, tomorrow will mark the start of DeSantis' campaign if he's going to throw his hat in the ring.
And a decade of crap
exactly.
if we lose.
And mitigating his authority and power right now with these midterm elections would go a long way in alleviating that stress of him actually being a contender in the presidential election.
And by the way, I clearly heard nobody wanted to answer my question that I asked. Oh, that's okay.
Well, I will answer it. I know that Joe Biden has beaten Donald Trump before, so it's possible. So that gives me some hope.
Yeah.
And I think if we lose, we should say it's fraud and it's fixed, just like Donald Trump has for years. We should throw ourselves on the floor and go, it's fixed.
Storm the Capitol.
And we're going to, no.
Not me, sorry.
Do that.
I'll be in my pool.
Let me tell you one other observation of our problem. You threw out the challenge to vote. It's gotten way more complicated than that. And the reason is, yes, your answer is correct. And by the way, at Queer News Tonight, Fay and I have said vote about 3,420 times. I was at a barbershop, a gay barbershop today. They've won SFGN's Best of for like 6 or 7 years. So now everybody knows who I'm talking about. I was in the barbershop where two customers were talking with the barber that was cutting my hair. And the barber said, "Are you going to vote tomorrow?" And they didn't know the election was tomorrow. And when the barber in shock said, "It's tomorrow and you got to vote and it's very important," they said they did not know whether it was the midterm election or the election and wanted to know if they were going to be voting for the President of the United States.
We're
That's
uneducated.
in our own LGBTQ community. How do we even begin to...
That's why we keep shining. We keep on telling our stories. We post on Facebook, go vote. We go in our chats on WhatsApp and we say, hey, don't forget to vote. We post our picture of us saying, I just voted. That's all we can do, Al. That's all we can do.
And don't be afraid to talk. people want to avoid the topic of politics because they don't want to ruffle any feathers. Well, we need to ruffle some feathers, or at least wake some people up, because some people don't even know that they're blinded to what reality is. You know what I mean? We just need to start speaking truth.
You know what sucks? Your story is probably not uncommon.
Yeah, it's probably not.
I think that you have to keep speaking up, because that's at least my theme for the evening, is if you keep speaking, it raises awareness and it helps us get past today to a better tomorrow.
Yep.
That's
Well,
what I'm going to say.
You know, we have a candidate that's very pro-LGBT in Florida that's running against Marco Rubio for the Senate seat. It's a woman of color, and Dee, you're going to do a story about what women of color face running as a candidate.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.